Everybody, my name is Dave and I teach people how to play the saxophone in my home studio here in Southern California. If you're in the area and you want to stop by for a lesson, let's do this. davegoodsax@gmail.com. Put you right in touch with me. davegoodsax@gmail.com. Or hit me up in the comments below. All right? I'll get right back to you. As of this morning, I believe we had over 470 subscribers. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do it now. That way I can know my lessons are reaching you. There's no ego here, right? Anyway, 471, I think. I'm so grateful for all of those of you who have subscribed and joined up and have sent me your ideas for future lessons and sent me little clips of your progress or how you're doing. I don't really advertise these. I have no script. I in fact started doing this maybe a year ago, and it was for a couple of students that wanted to have online lessons that they could refer to over and over again. And so I said, okay, and I've just kind of been at it ever since. So a couple of sessions ago, we started in response to a question from one of you, a session about lessons for the more advanced student. What should a more advanced saxophone student be practicing? This is a three-part series on what to practice. One for the absolute beginner, two for the settled, intermediate student, and today we're going to talk about the program that's going to boost the advanced intermediate player like up and over the moon to a whole new generation of sax playing. All right, and it's incredibly simple. So this is going to be a short lesson. Let me just back up a little bit here and say that most of my students are adult learners. Kids aren't picking up instruments as much as they used to. I started when I was, I think, 10 or 11 with an alto sax. Alto sax made by Kahn, in fact. Same company that made, this beautiful horn. I had one of those shooting star horns that was, okay, but it was what I had, right? And I played that thing for years. And there's still some of them around. I had a student, in fact, who had one, a shooting star. And stuff was falling off of it, but it was pretty cool. Anyway, this is a 6M that was made in 1946, 20 years before the shooting stars, I think, started to show up. School band back then was mandatory. I mean, it was either school or drama or some art program, and I was lucky enough to get into the school band program. I wanted to play clarinet because Ricky Welsh played clarinet. My parents were wiser than me as an 11-year-old, and they said, no, clarinet isn't going to work for you. You want to play a saxophone. So they scraped their pennies together. God bless them, and they got me an alto sax, that shooting star, right? And it was so amazing and shiny and wonderful, and I was like, what is all of this? Well, I had a free lesson. Came with a sax from Ozzy's Music in La Mesa, here, near where I live, and that one free lesson was, aside from that, it was whatever the band teacher, knew and showed me, which was very little. So I basically self-taught. And I self-taught myself a lot of habits that don't work for me to this day, okay? And I've been spending years unlearning them as I have been, increasing my skill on the saxophone. So in lesson 1, we talked about get a teacher, a human being, not don't learn off of YouTube, says the YouTube guy. Don't learn off YouTube videos if you've never played anything before. Get a teacher, right? Sit in a room with a teacher who can see you and hear you, okay? Number 2 was to essentially listen more than you think you should be listening. I mean, listen to really cool sax players that you dig, okay? And memorize heads. What's a head? A song. That's a slang for a song. Memorize songs. And whatever the idiom. You want to go play with a church band on Sunday? Well, learn those songs, right? Get a list from the band director. If you want to get a jazz buddy, I couldn't encourage you more. Learn some good jazz songs. Learn stuff. Just work it out. Learn stuff. Memorize stuff. Don't go in there with dots on a page and leave through the book, because you won't own the song. It will not be in you. In fact, you will not even really hear it, because that part of your brain, and it disconnects from your ears, I think, And this is great science, right? And I think you spend more time focused on reading than you do on any other activity when you're playing a piece of music. If you can memorize it, I mean, really commit it to memory, you have got you're on the way to lesson number 3, and that's today. This is for the advanced intermediate. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you've been playing. You're an advanced intermediate player. All right, got your scales. Bust them. You can bust them out. You got tone for days. All right. You have got your scales broken into arpeggios, majors, minors, and let's say dominant sevens. And maybe you went to the extra credit line and you've got diminished arpeggios as well. They're not hard. They just got to take practice, all right? You're putting that time in every day at the same time, by the way. That was in lesson 2. Show up at the same time every day and put in the time. Record thyself. You're recording yourself and you're listening back because the recorder don't lie. It's going to tell you where the mistakes are, where the problems are. Alto sax, I have not really played alto sax in about 10 years, and this wonderful horn landed in my lap. And yeah, right. And I got to tell you, I decided to take it to a jam session last week with good friends. I thought, I'm going to try the alto sax there. I've been playing it now for about 90 days. And I think I got, most of the bugs worked out. Jim Weiss, the saxophone whisperer, Jim Weiss, if you need somebody and you're in the Southern California area, hit me for his contact information. He is the guy. Anyway, he went over the horn and just made it hum. And so I thought, well, I'll take it to a jam session. And I recorded myself at the session. And when I came home, I listened back to, and I heard things that needed help, right? I heard things in my playing that I wouldn't have known in the hubba of a jazz, of loud guitars and drums. I wouldn't have known that I was scooping notes, that I wasn't really hitting notes where they should be hit. I wasn't really doing a variety of notes. I was kind of getting stuck on 1 or 2 ideas. So there are 3 things that I said, I can write these out and make these part of my practice this week, okay? So record thyself. I record myself. You record yourself and listen back. And don't listen with a critical ear, like, just okay. We all do that. No, just this is a tool to learn to get better, okay? So onward and upward, the advanced intermediate student. What should you be practicing? Here's where you want to go with this. I want you to transcribe a solo a week. Let that sink in. I know, like what? Yeah, transcribe a solo a week. Come back every week with a new solo transcribed. They don't have to be like really long ones, but they have to be. They have to be there. You got to do this, all right? And if you're like me, if you're in the pop music, I like to play rhythm and blues. I played rock and roll for years. So why don't you go get familiar with King Curtis? Or how about Junior Walker and the All-Stars, and let's just do Shotgun. Do the intro to Shotgun. Figure that one out. It's not very long. It's not incredibly hard, but it's important for you to have that in your lexicon. Solo a week, okay? Learn a solo a week. There are a zillion amazing pop, rock, gospel, funk, soul. I mean, we don't have to keep going backwards to the chipped altar of John Coltrane or any of those players. In fact, I didn't get John Coltrane. It wasn't. I didn't know about jazz till I got to high school, so I wanted to preface that comment. But John Coltrane went I thought he was pretty amazing in a way that was unattainable for me, and kind of went off the rails with his playing near the end of his life. He was doing some different things that didn't speak to me. I had no idea what he was doing. Stan Getz, yeah, there you go, Stan Getz. Cannonball Adderley, Hank Crawford. I'm kind of your Hank Crawford, Eddie Harris on tenor. Oh man, is that guy wonderful. So there are some, you can study anybody. You don't have to learn every Charlie Parker head there is unless you want to be a bebop sax player. If you want to play bebop, well, there you go. So that's what I want advanced intermediate players to do. Memorize a solo every week, all right? Record it, listen to it. Do this for a year. That's 52 solos by the end. Well, take a vacation. Okay, so 50 solos by the end of the year. Do you know what kind of a monster player you're going to be? Well, I do. So get busy. Hit me back if you have any comments below. Or if you'd like to send me an email, davegoodsax@gmail.com. In fact, record yourself and send me a link. I'll listen to it. All right. Thanks all so much for being here. Any suggestions for future episodes? Love to hear from you. All right. Get back to that saxophone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.